So today's video is a bit interesting because I am with Kat and he does whatever he wants. He does not like being left out. But today's video, I want to talk about the book Otherworldly because I talk a lot about how much I love F.T Lukens books, her writing style. This one was one I didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would. However, I never made a video about this and what I did love about it, what I didn't like about it, and as someone who loves like talking about F.T Lukens books, because even though it wasn't for me per se, this is still a book I want to talk about on this channel, and I'm a bit upset at myself for not doing this sooner. One sec. My cat has decided he wants to go and I have finished a couple of phone calls, so I'm back. Sorry, my guineas are being suspiciously quiet. Anyway, this book was difficult for me to write a review on because I loved so much about it, but when it boiled down to it, it was not up there with what I was expecting. So the book In Deeper Waters by this author, I absolutely devoured. In fact, all the other books by this author I have basically perfection, but even though I also need to review those for this channel, Otherworldly for some reason did not hit for me. Like when I started reading it, I absolutely loved it, and then we get to about this deep in and I did finish reading it, but it just started to be a little bit too much like a lot of other books that I read, which isn't something I'm used to seeing in F.T Lukens books. I feel like I'm suffocating in regret by giving it 3 stars. The start and the end of the book were brilliant. The pacing was okay. It felt a little bit all over the place for me. This took me a couple of days to read because I kept putting it off because it was difficult for me to progress through the chapters, because there were parts of it which to me were reminiscent of books that I've read before, which isn't what I expect of a book by this author. For some reason, to me, the story lost its magic. This is very, like, I don't want to put people off this book. I highly recommend this book to absolutely, like, anyone who likes, if you like cozy magic based worlds, if you want something that is action packed but also has that domestic bliss kind of element to it, then this is a book for you. We've got a non-binary MC, which is another reason why I want to do this review, because I've got a few mates who are non-binary that I know wanted to see the review of this, because none of them use Goodreads, which is where I put all my reviews for my books. But it just did not feel as good as In Deeper Waters to me. I don't know if that's because I couldn't find it as relatable. Like, the number of times that one of the main characters is getting beaten up, it just felt like they should have been hospitalized a lot. It felt really unrealistic to me. It felt like it were 200 pages of filler. It wasn't like the fun kind. It felt fun in places, don't get me wrong, like it was more like the characters. So we've got Knox. Another thing I want to also mention is usually when I read non-binary characters, they will go by she or he as well. This is the first book I've ever seen a non-binary character that goes by they, them throughout and is never referred to anything else, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. I've never seen that in a book before, so anyone who, you know, is looking for that kind of thing, I highly recommend this book for that reason as well. But it took me a few weeks to read this book, I can't lie. It was really difficult for me to, so what I had to do is I ended up setting myself a limit when I was reading this. So this is, I guess this also doubles over as like what I do in reading slumps. But even though it wasn't really a slump, it was just this book was not hitting for me. And I would read, like I would either set a timer for 20 minutes of reading this book, or I would read 20 pages, and depending on my mood, that's how I went about reading this book. There were bits where it was just like filler, and then there was a really good scene and a really like some very interesting like phrases in this book. Like at the beginning, it opens up and it's talking about Nox and it's talking about L, and it's talking about how they interact, like how they not like you can tell there's like some sort of magic between them, but they don't know it yet. The ending didn't feel too predictable. I was the ending brilliant. The start, brilliant. The in-between, I could have cut all that out happily. Which, again, struck me as odd about this book. I would, like... if you see me glancing off screen, I'm just looking at my... I'm trying to think of other ways to phrase this thing. I've got my review up here to try and help me. But... this book started brilliantly and then it just dropped off. It became a cozy read. It had like a mythological sense to it. There was like an element of like that reminded me of like Greek gods, kind of reminded me of paganism. I like the stakes. There was much to love, but the pacing was off by a mile. Like Ellery was nearly getting murdered a mile a minute in this book. Like it just kept like a strong, independent, non-binary character nearly getting murdered by species and creatures not of this world, all for a guy, well, a supernatural familiar who is risking it all. It just felt weird to me. It was very difficult to keep up with, but then it was too slow, and I'm not sure what else to say. I would recommend this book. I will always absolutely, like, I love talking about F.T Lukens books. I also want to mention, let's have a look, where is it? Sam Schechter, brilliant. Like, look at this. I bought all of the books that had these covers. I believe Sam's done all the covers for all the pretty books that the pretty looking front covers. But as far as Lukens' writing goes, this was not one of the best. It would go one way and then it would miss the point, or maybe it was me that missed the point because I was reading 20 pages, but it just felt like a lot of the interactions in this book were forced. It didn't feel natural, and I know it's a supernatural book, so you probably like, but there's still elements within supernatural books. Like, sometimes it felt like a fantasy book, then it felt like it was about Greek mythology, and then it felt like it was something else, and it was just too much, but not enough. It didn't carry itself well. Like, the beginning, beautiful. The ending, beautiful. The in-between, just like 200 pages of filler. It just felt like it was trying to, it was doing too much, and I was just expecting better because it was F.T Lukens. So for me, this was a 3-star. I'm hoping, I will be doing a better scripted review of the other books that I've read, but this one was very difficult. I couldn't write for, so I figured I would just record and leave it at that. I do, again, highly recommend picking out. There are some beautiful, the hardback looks very pretty. I can't read hardbacks, but again, on this channel we love an F.T Lukens books. She writes it, I'll buy it. There's no two ways about it. Also, I know my friends who are non-binary are going to love this book a lot more than I did, partly because of the representation, partly because the pretty handsome man and the witchcraft elements of this. So if anything, I might not have enjoyed this, but I know they will. So have you read this book? Is this on your to be read list? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!